Dacha Hao, Washa Michael Larson, Washa Neiman Depungyu. Hello, everybody. This is Mike Larson from BBC IML, and this is A Moment with Mike. Once again, out here by the shores of Lake Superior, and calm day. This is really unique for Lake Superior. Usually, Lake Superior is full of waves and there's wind and everything, and today it's just like glass out there. So I see Bellamy is with me now, but today I wanted to talk about how people, once again, I'm changing my business. Everybody that's gone through this, everybody that's going through this right now with the COVID-19 pandemic, the world has changed. I've said this almost every video now, but the world has changed. And it's never going back to the way it was again. We all have to change. We have to find what it is that about this new world that we can be a part of. So I think people get caught up too much in their roles, and that includes me. We get caught up in our roles, and God intended us for something. He did. He wanted us to be something. He put us on this earth unique to everybody else. Fundamental elements that I teach. When you figure out fundamental elements, which is the 6 fundamental elements, then you think about all the modalities that go along with that, the different personalities, and how we shape our fundamental elements. And you could come up with 52 billion different personalities. That's 52 billion different people out there. Every one of them is unique. That's the way God created us. So think of yourself right now. When you were born a perfect version of who you, of you, a perfect version. God doesn't make mistakes. He made you a perfect version of who you are. So as we go through life, things start to happen, and we get roles. We do things. We become a child. We become a student. Then we go on later. We become a boyfriend, or we become a girlfriend. We become a friend. We become a wife. We become a husband. We become an architect. We become a car salesman. We become an accountant. We become a doctor. Those are all roles. They have nothing to do with your identity. Absolutely nothing to do with your identity. So when you think about that, and what if we took you right now and we put you out on a desert island out there? You had enough food to survive, and you had shelter and everything, so you could easily survive. But you're on this island. There are no roles. There's not a job to go to. You're by yourself. There's nobody to communicate with. You're not going to be a husband. You're not going to be a wife. You're not going to be a father. But we put you on that island. What are you? Are you, from a scale of 1 to 10, what are you? So think about that. And if you're anything less than a 10, then you're not talking about your identity, because your identity is perfect. You are the same thing you were born as, and you were born a perfect version of yourself. The only thing that changes are the roles. So in this world, this is what I have to think about. And this is what everybody has to think about. The world has changed. Our roles have probably changed. But who we are hasn't changed one bit. We're still a perfect version of who we were and who we will always be. You're always going to be perfect. You're always a 10. And when you can think of yourself as a 10, then you live up to that 10. If you think of yourself as a 6, you're only going to live up to a 6. And you're only going to put yourself around other people you see as a 6 because you don't think you're good enough for them. But when you're a 10, you put yourself as a 10, and the people you surround yourself with are going to be 10s also. You're going to feel better about yourself. So let me ask a question, and this is an algorithm for Facebook. If I've got something to offer the world, everybody on this call right now, everybody I've talked to on Facebook over the last couple of days, the hundreds of people that I've talked to over the last couple of days, we all have a role on this earth. We all have an identity. And we're the only ones that have that identity. So we're a perfect version of ourselves. And being that, because God gave us this gift, it's our responsibility to share it with everybody else. That's what we're here for. That's what we were put on this earth for, is to share it with everybody else. So how many people, and give me an answer, type in an answer for me if you're on this call right now. How many of you would get really nervous about going on live Facebook like I am right now? Go ahead and give me an answer, type in an answer. All right, we got Lynn and Bellamy on here. Let's get an answer. Go ahead and type in an answer, or give me a heart if you're nervous about speaking live on Facebook. And if you think, if you're nervous about that, I was also, and I still get a little bit nervous about doing it. And the reason we get nervous about doing it is because maybe we don't think that we know enough, that we have enough to offer, that we can get on Facebook and we can offer to people. Well, that's bunk. It is. You were born a perfect version of yourself. When you're born a perfect version of yourself, you have something to offer. In fact, it's your responsibility to offer it. And I could learn from anybody that comes onto this call today, and you guys could learn from me. And that's what we're supposed to do in this world, is we're supposed to add value to each other. When you're adding value and you're sharing, it's the only way that you can you can be fulfilled in life. And if you're not doing that, if you're not getting out and if you're not adding value to people and you're not sharing to people, then, thank you, Bellamy, then you aren't giving your gift. You're not giving out the gift that you were given to share with the rest of the world. That's what we have to do. So I see Ted's on here now, David Cash. So what we're doing today, guys, part of what I do here is I'm sharing my gift. And the more people I can share it with, the better off the world's going to be, the better off I'm going to be. And everybody on this call should be trying to do that same thing. So if I'm going to do that, I need your help. I need Facebook to recognize me so that I can get my word out to more people. So when I ask a question, I'd like everybody to shoot out an answer, yes or no, or a heart, or whatever it is that you could put out there. But the question was that I wanted to know how many of you would get nervous by doing this, by getting on Facebook Live and doing this. And we started off with talking about identity. And you were born a perfect version of yourself. The only thing that changes, you're still perfect. Your identity never changes. The only thing that changes is roles. And people get roles confused with identity. Roles are just roles. There's something that happens in your life. It's something you decide to do, but it doesn't change your identity. You're born a unique version of yourself. There's nobody else like you. So you have something to offer to this world all the time, no matter what. So, people thinking that they don't have something to offer is procrastination. It's just a form of procrastination. Whatever you have in your mind, an idea of what you want to create, of what you want to be in your life, is already available to you. Here's the reason why. Not only were we born perfect, with a perfect identity, we were also born with a direction. God had a plan for us. And what he does is he gives us dreams. And when we dream, we're dreaming about possibilities. Sometimes the dream doesn't make sense to us the next morning when we wake up, but we're dreaming about possibilities, and that puts us into a frequency, I believe. And when we get into that frequency, then we get in frequency with an idea that's already out there. And because that idea is already out there, there's also a physical form of it. That's a spiritual form of it. There's also a physical form of it. What will come together to make that idea happen? And those are opposite of each other. And the universe has to be in perfect balance, otherwise it collapses on us. So when we're born with an idea. And because of that idea and who we're supposed to be, we're given dreams. And dreams put us into frequency. And because of that, when we're dreaming and we continually dream about one, we get that really fantastic dream and it stays in our mind for a long time. And because we put emotion into it, it gets frequency, and then the idea is attracted to us. Well, the idea cannot be out there unless the physical form is already there. Otherwise, the universe collapses on itself. So understand that your identity, who you are, what you dream, is what you can become. But the only thing that keeps that from happening, in fact, it can't happen unless we don't allow it to happen. And we procrastinate. And we tell ourselves, well, I'm not really that good. Oh, come on. That's getting off your identity. You're perfect. You're a perfect version of you. Now, you may not perfectly be able to perform it, but that's how we grow, that's how we learn, and that's how we better ourselves. And it's the learning, when we go through that learning curve and how we understand how to do things, that's what gives us the ability to teach others then. We've already been through it. And you know what happens when you're expanding like that? You're growing, and if you can't expand, you're dying. It's one or the other. And once you've learned, now you have the ability to share. This is what was God intended for us, is to be able to share. So it starts with the dream. It starts, and then you get the idea because you constantly think about this dream and you're emotionally attached to it. The more emotionally attached you are to it, the stronger that idea comes to you. And once you have that idea that comes to you, it's already there. The physical world is already there for you. You just have to take advantage of it, and you have to pay attention. You have to notice it. So people on this call that and are going to see this video, think about this. The world has changed. We're designed to be able to adjust to this. We're perfect for it. The only thing that keeps us from changing with the world and achieving is right there. Is right there. It's the only thing that keeps that from happening. I guarantee you guys have got an idea right now of something you can do. That means the physical part of it is already there. The only thing that keeps you from doing that is the procrastination. I don't have the money. Well, that might be true, but you take smaller steps. You find the money then. That's part of the path. You find the money. Then when you have the money, then you can do it. I don't have the time. Okay. Well, then live in the life you want to be with right now. Nobody's going to blame you for that. It's up to you. But you do have the time. Back it down. Take the time. If it's that important to you, you will take the time. I don't have the ability. Well, then learn. That's part of it. That's part of the process. That's part of becoming that idea, of getting to that idea. Or nobody will believe me. Oh, come on. Does it matter if other people really believe you? They will believe you when you achieve it. Of course they don't believe you now because they don't have the same idea you have. They don't have the same plan you have. They don't see the same vision. They don't have the same emotion. That's why, we talked about this last night. We talked about love relationship. And when you get into a love relationship with somebody, some of your friends are meeting their fundamental elements by you being their friend. And they're afraid. See, fundamental elements, when we meet our fundamental elements, we feel fulfilled. So when they see you meet somebody that you have a relationship with, they're afraid that you're going to leave them. So they will actually try to sabotage that. And they might not even realize they're doing it. But they will try to sabotage that. They'll try and give you an idea why it shouldn't be good for you because they're afraid you're going to leave them and then they're not going to be able to meet their fundamental elements because of that. Same thing when you get an idea about something you can do in life that you could be better in life in. The people around you are afraid of losing you because you're meeting their fundamental elements right now. And they will try and sabotage you. They'll say, oh, that's a crazy idea. Well, you're just a dreamer. Don't listen to that. That's another form of procrastination. It is. Believe in yourself. Believe in your idea. Find a plan. Now, don't fall in love with the plan because the plan will change 1,000 times, but the idea never changes. And if it looks like the idea is falling apart, it really wasn't the idea, it was the plan. The idea is maybe a little bit bigger than that. So be careful on what you see on that. But believe in yourself. You were designed for that idea. You were. There's no doubt in my mind that you were designed for that idea. There's no doubt in my mind that I was designed for my idea. Now, my plan has changed over the last couple of years, my whole life. But sometimes I fell in love with the plan and I gave up on the idea because I didn't understand the difference. And I wish I hadn't. But there's no regrets. I learned. And now I can teach you guys because of that. So that was part of God's plan also. He gives us these huge challenges. He wants to make sure that we're ready for that incredible success he has in store for us. So he gives us these really big challenges so we can learn. And when we learn from those, then we have something to share Now we can be fulfilled because we have that greatness to share, and that goes all the way back to identity again in that original dream. So it's revolving. So I hope this finds you well. Have a super fantastic evening. And I would love people to share some ideas of something they'd like me to talk about. You can share with me at inspiredmotivatedleadership.com, my email, or you can text me on Messenger, and I'd be happy to share. And in fact, when we get on these things, I haven't had too many questions with people. I think they're afraid that their identity, I see Chad's here now too, I don't think they're sure enough about their identity to give me a question, but I'd be happy to answer those questions, or try my best to. If you're stuck in something, I can make that part of this if you feel comfortable with me sharing it with people, because you're probably going to help other people too. When you're stuck with something, you think you're the only one, you're likely not. So share with me things that you'd like me to talk about. I'd be happy to do that. But have a super fantastic evening. I'm glad you were able to join me here this evening. This will be posted on Facebook, as it always is. Every night I'm going to be here at 7 o'clock unless I have something else going on, and I'll let you know the day before when I'll switch that time to. So, but once again, have a super fantastic evening, and we will talk soon.